Hey y'all, my name is Blair Cinta, and today I'm going to give you 3 reasons not to play too loud in a studio environment. You don't have to play loud in a studio to make things sound big and rocking. You're welcome to, and it might be relevant for certain situations, but here are 3 good reasons to consider when you're recording a rock, pop, or R&B track to have your internal balance together and not to play too loud in a studio. If you happen to like what I'm teaching here on this YouTube channel, please visit my website, sign up on my mailing list, and there's a lot of exclusive content that I'm not teaching here that you'll get about recording tips and stories and all kinds of good stuff through there. Number 1, in your internal balance, your kick and snare should be the loudest thing. Not your hi-hat, not your crash cymbals, not your ride cymbal, not flailing on the ride cymbals so it's super loud. The thing that connects with the audience is the beat, the kick and the snare. That's what bobs their heads. That's what shakes their butts. Number 2, not using proper internal balance will have your cymbals bleeding into all the mics that you don't want them to be bleeding in. Okay? It's going to bleed into the snare mic. It's going to bleed into your tom mics. It's going to bleed into your kick mic. And then this makes it harder for you to EQ super fat tones out of your kick and snare and your toms because you have this high sizzly thing going all the way through. Okay, and by doing this also, you can avoid hopefully using any samples on your drums. You send an engineer a track to mix, and bam, your tones are right there. They're not fighting the cymbals and the hi-hat of everything that's bled through. All right, so avoid using samples, avoid bleed in your mics. Number 3, adding compression can make you sound like you are hitting the crap out of the drums, if that's what you want. Okay, compression is an amazing tool. So work with the gear, work with the studio, and work with the tools that are given to you. Even in the cheapest DAW that you could be using, there's onboard compression, free compression plugins that can make you sound as though even when you're hitting the drums quiet, it sounds massive. So here's an example of these drums without the compression on and then with the compression on. In a studio, you don't have to look cool. You don't have to flail your arms and like you're playing a live show. Work with the studio, work within the constraints of the studio, and it's going to be better for everybody all around. When you're playing in a small room, and my room is quite small, the louder you play your cymbals, the more it's going to come off the walls and bleed into the mics. So be adaptable to a situation being in a small room and still getting a great sound. Open sounding drums, tuned well, will work with the compression and sound even bigger. A little bit of ring on the snare, as you can hear with the compression, it stands out even more. The bass drum in the rooms, it's breathing, it's got a big fat tone already because it's tuned well, and it works with the room to sound even bigger. Same thing with the toms. And last, and probably the most important thing, is if the song is written well and if the song is produced well, you don't have to play louder to make the song any better. Okay? If you're going to a chorus, if the song is good enough, the song is going to lift itself. It doesn't need you to start bashing your brains out on the chorus to make the song any better or make it more exciting. Okay? If the lyrics are there, if the content is there, if it has maybe great chord changes, if the song and the lyrics are connecting with people, okay, you playing louder in the chorus or the bridge doesn't really matter. Your job is just to help the song sound good. If you have any questions about developing your internal balance, please hit me up through my website. I do teach privately, and you can hit me up there and we'll get down into depth about this stuff. Take care. Thanks for checking it out.